Good morning, Professor Villa, fellow classmates. Welcome to my posting about our Week 5 discussion, course and cases. And this week you asked us to discuss where a criminal case substantially led to a civil case being filed against a criminal case. The one that I want to talk about is probably one that is probably one of the most famous, that was called the trial of the century. Um, and that is the people in the state of California versus Orenthal J. Simpson, the man better known as O.J. Simpson, aka the Juice, aka Mr. If the Glove Don't Fit, then you must acquit. Um, this took place back in this crime allegedly took place back in 1995 that charged O.J. Simpson, famous professional football player, for the murder of his wife, his then wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her lover, Ron Goldman. Um, this case was very high profile. There was a lot of conflict, I guess you want to say, within, well, the United States and also around the world with this particular trial in question. It it caused a very big racial divide within this country, considering that obviously O.J. Simpson was a black man and Nicole Brown Simpson was a white woman. Um, with a lot of African American people feeling that O.J. Was not guilty, and that you know white people thinking that or feeling that O.J. was guilty. Um, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that once again, he is a black man, and that she was a white woman. Now, there's a lot of things that play factor into that. I think more so than just generally thinking that, okay, because he's black and she's white, that's why people felt a certain kind of way. Now, I'm pretty sure there are some out there who did prejudge that notion off the racial divide, so to say. But a lot of the factors that played into that was a lot of the things that happened in the past. Um, the accusations of spousal abuse against Nicole by OJ on numerous occasions. Um, I know that during the trial, a lot of that was a lot of that evidence was factored in, as far as um, whether or not to use it against OJ by the prosecution to decide whether he was guilty or not. So I know a lot of that, a lot of that, the past issues that had happened between them played a factor into why um, some white people felt that he was guilty. And like I said, not so much as so that he was black and she was white. Um, but to get to the point, what subsequently led to a civil case was, first him being found not guilty, which was a shock, I think, to a lot of the people in America, especially white America. You know, I think even for some black people, and I think for some black people, I think they were just happy that he was found not guilty simply because he was a black man. I think it had nothing to do with the overall facts that were in the case or anything like that. I think it was just the fact that once again, he was an African American male, and black people felt that for so long we were created not created, I'm sorry, were treated unfairly by the judicial system, that this was a win for the African American community, um, especially, like I said, from a lot of the things that take place, they go on throughout the judicial system, that really doesn't um, side with black people here in America. But once again, getting back to the discussion at hand, even though OJ was found not guilty in criminal court, the family did take him to court and he was found guilty in a civil case of the wrongful death of both Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. And OJ was ordered to pay, it was like $33.5 million. Wow, that's a lot of money in the wrongful death suit. for the wrongful deaths of both of them. Now, in my opinion, do I think that he was guilty or not? Honestly, I think that he was guilty. It's just my opinion. This has nothing to do with, black or white. I think if you just look back at the evidence and everything that was presented, it's hard to say that either it's hard to say either he did or not. I would be wrong to say that I think that he did it because I was not there. The only two people that would know that he did it would be actually three: him, God, and obviously the two that are deceased. But as far as him knowing, I think if he didn't physically do it himself, he knew who did it. So I can see where in the civil case, the judge and the jury found him guilty of the civil wrong, of wrongful death of them, because the things that he did do in the past, they all played a factor into this coming about. Now, as far as in the second E activity where you asked us to talk about a specialized court within the vicinity of where we live at. Currently, I reside in Austin, Texas. I was living in San Antonio for about 7 years. I recently moved here about 2 years ago. And one court in specific that I want to talk about is I realized that a little bit of time that I was there, San Antonio had a high rate of DUIs and DWIs. I think it was pretty much in the top, I want to say like 5% of the nation. That's how frequent DUIs rather than DWIs were happening in the city of San Antonio. So what San Antonio decided to do was come up with a DWI court. So instead of people who committed the offenses of driving under the influence or driving while intoxicated having to go to court with people who committed, other types of misdemeanors, whether that's theft, drug charges, whatever the case may be, they figured that they would create just a special court just for people who committed these offenses because there was such a high number and it was happening at an alarming rate. Now, I think that this has helped out a lot, especially in the process of help speeding the court process up. I don't know how many people have been to court. I know I have been in court for tickets and things like that, and it's never as fast as you think it should go. Typically, it's an all-day thing. So you can imagine what it's like having multiple offenders who commit DUIs or DWI crimes mixed in with these other crimes. I wouldn't say so much as lesser crimes, but like I said, there was such a high number at an alarming rate that the city of San Antonio decided to say, hey, we need to come up with our own court, with our own judges, specifically just for people who commit these offenses. And I think that it has helped out a lot, not necessarily just with speeding up the process of, the time that people spend in court, but it also too allows the system to focus primarily on just that offense, especially something that is so prevalent and that is happening so much down in the city of San Antonio. It kind of can give them time, prosecutors or ADAs or district attorneys can focus mainly on just the DUI side. And I think that would be helpful in any city or any town that has a high rate of a certain crime, not just DUIs, whether it's robberies or rapes, assaults, whatever the case may be. Having these specialized courts help to alleviate some of the traffic, I guess you want to say, that makes up the process of the court systems that people have to go through. So once again, this is my thoughts on our week 5 discussion. I hope that people find it informative. I know it's not as long as it's normally been, and hopefully that you find some insight into my discussion. I look forward to the comments. Thank you all. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you back in week 6.